This is a game called Dota 2. As you can see, there are many players. The foundation of matchmaking. It's a triangle. There is MMR, there is behavior score, and there is communication score. This one is behavior score, and this one is communication score. For some retarded reason, they are both exactly the same. And we know why. Because they limit your communication score to your behavior score. The matchmaking use these three numbers. They are numbers. And how these numbers affect? So if your MMR is low, you will be matched with low MMR players so that everyone is around the same skill. So within the MMR layer of matchmaking, there is another one that uses behavior. So if you're, for example, low MMR and then you quit, you will be matched with players around your behavior score. So how do these numbers change MMR? It will go up if you play good, if you have good knowledge of the game, if you make good decisions. It will go down if you don't do any of that, if you are bad, if you don't block the cam, if you don't last hit properly, if you play bad, MMR will go down. And there is behavior score, which is exclusively for behavior in terms of gameplay. So if you decide to suddenly change your goal from winning to losing and decide that you want to lose for some reason, that's intentional griefing. Pay attention, it's intentional. You have intentions of losing the game that you quit. So when you intentionally grief the game, your behavior score will go down. And if you don't intentionally grief the game, your behavior score will go up. And then there is communication score. If you are toxic, if you're animal, if you yell at chat, at voice, if you call people names, if you're toxic, if you're just aggressive in the chat and in the voice and with your pings and by drawing, all of those are communication. It's all a form of communication. So let's see some examples of intentionally griefing the game. I decide to TP here and just walk down mid and just feed. I am intentionally griefing the game for my allies. Doing this will make sure I will lose the game because I'm planning to lose the game. This is intentionally griefing. I'm support of Lifestealer. Lifestealer is supposed to last hit in the lane, but I take his last hit. I don't let him last hit. I take the farm. Even though I'm a support, I am intentionally griefing the game. I'm ruining the game for my team. This is examples of griefing. Or for example, I'm the offlaner and Lifestealer is the support. Now I suddenly decide that this support is useless. So I rage and go jungle and will remain in jungle for the rest of the game. I am intentionally deciding not to play. I'm griefing. So my behavior score should go down. Examples of communication abuse. I will ping my support. I will do this. I will call him kill yourself, for example. I will yell at voice. You're a retard. These are examples of communication abuse. Being annoying in voice and chat, making everyone uncomfortable. These are examples of communication abuse. Examples of bad play. For example, my offlaner is Lifestealer and I picked the Row Ranger as support. As a result, enemy with proper support can destroy us and kill us. And we lose the lane because I'm not playing good. I picked a bad hero for this role. I'm not blocking the cam. I'm not doing anything as a support. And guess what? I will lose the lane. This CK will be farmed and I will lose the game. My ancient will be destroyed. As a result, my MMR will go down. As of right now, the MMR functionality is absolutely perfect. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's completely perfect. Communication score is perfect. It couldn't be better than this. Where's the problem? The problem is that the behavior score is not working as intended. There is no report for MMR. MMR is just automatic. You lose MMR. You win, you gain MMR. But behavior score and communication scores are report based. For communication score, it's working fine. But for behavior score, you sometimes do not intentionally grief the game. Sometimes you never intentionally grief the game. You have never griefed the game for like 200 games in a row, and yet you still lose behavior score. You know why? Because this is the hardest thing to detect. The amount of reports are insane and the amount of reviews are very, very low. So they realize that this system is not going to work. They need to implant an automatic system. So they say, let's give everyone infinite reports and then decide whoever gets the most report, they will lose behavior score, no matter if they intentionally griefed the game or not. And let's just fuck around and find out. Well, we fucked around for a year or two and we found out. Basically, it's being abused. And it's causing the actual griefers to have immunity because so many are being reported that the top percentile includes so many people who are not griefing. So they are just staying in a pool where most players are not griefing and they don't get punished as harsh as they should. And many players are being punished for something they have not done. So our issue is here. When we post about behavior score problems in Reddit, you cannot tell us it's because you don't pull. It's because you didn't block the cam. It's because you didn't gank. That's none of the behavior score problem. It's MMR issue. If I'm not doing any of those, my MMR should go down. And you keep telling us, it's because you're toxic. You're a toxic animal and you fucking deserve it. Something tells me your behavior score is not going down because you play invoker support. It's because you're toxic. Yeah, if I'm toxic, my communication score should fucking go down. Not my behavior score, because that was initially what was planned. The behavior score is for intentional griefing. Picking a position for invoker is not intentionally griefing. Even if it's bad, even if invoker is bad, my MMR will go down eventually, right? I'm playing a bad dog shit hero. My MMR should go down, not my behavior score. If I destroy my items as invoker, or just still farm, or just go AFK jungle till the game ends, my behavior score should go down. You understand? That is the problem. And when you're below a certain threshold in behavior score, which I am right now, below 10k and 9k, there are so many people who are hard stuck. They just don't do anything and still get reported. They're just mad. They report everyone at the slightest disagreement or anything. When they lose, they just report everyone who they think is the reason they lost. And they don't report for bad playing. They report for intentional griefing. You understand? And they have infinite. So they keep reporting. I have never ever done anything intentionally in the past like 100, 200 games. Never. The only thing that I do that people hate is playing like heroes that most people don't like. Invoker, nature support, Nyx support, and things like that. They don't like it. And whenever we lose, they just report. I've lost, look at this, 2 reports. 2 reports. I dropped from 10k to this 400 drop. I'm just floating in this MMR for decades, for a fucking 6 months. Look at this. I'm just hovering. Most of these games, I'm completely all mute. I don't use any form of communication. So remember, communication score. My communication score is higher. You see this gray bar? It means it's higher than 10k. It actually used to be 12k, but at certain point I stopped giving a fuck and just said whatever I want because I was losing behavior score anyway. So when we talk about behavior score issues, we are talking about here, this part. Not bad play, not toxicity. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's say playing Invoker or with Exor is extremely bad. It's just not optimal. It's very dog shit and it's so bad that it's kind of grieving. There's so many things in this game that we, the players, we we think that's griefing, even though it's not intention, even though the person is trying to win. But we think it's griefing. For example, someone plays offlaner's sniper. Most of us think that's griefing. We don't want sniper position 3. We need someone to initiate, right? I agree that that's a good thing. That's kind of griefing, and we all agree. But Valve has not designed a system to punish that. They did not. They only care about intentional griefing, and that's where the issue comes from. They should add another report solely for this kind of minor grief. It's unintentional grief. That's what most people want to use, but they don't have, so they have no other choice but to use the intentional grief report, right? Let's say I'm retarded. If I'm unintentionally griefing the game, then my MMR should have been lower. I shouldn't have been the same MMR as you. We're playing in the same rank. So whatever the fuck I'm doing, it's working because I'm same MMR as you, right? But let's say, okay, maybe I was playing a good hero for a long time, then I reached this rank, and now I decided to play dogshit hero or some reason. That could happen. That's reasonable. It could happen. And you're not happy with it. You think I should be lower MMR. You want to report me. Okay, let's implement a report that is for unintentional griefing. And that unintentional griefing should not reduce my behavior score. It should reduce my MMR. I shouldn't have to play with literal animal griefers, potentially grief the game because I'm playing a suboptimal hero. I should instead lose more MMR. So I'll be like, holy shit, people are reporting me because they think this is grief. I will play with lower MMR players as a result. But this report, this new report, we call it unintentional griefing report. This report should not be available during the game because that will destroy any kind of creativity. That would make people just only play the meta and only buy the most common items, because if they don't, people would just spam this report on anything. But if we make this report only available at the end of the game, then it will give room for creative people to be creative, to try new meta. It could still result in reports, but it's their choice. They decided to play a suboptimal or unorthodox hero and they lost with it, so they received the report, and I'm happy with that. I will accept that. But when I discover something broken and I'm winning with it like crazy, and then I go in the game, I try to do that what I discovered, but no one knows about it, they think it's grief, they report me for intentional griefing, they will go AFK because they think they lost anyway and the game is over, then I'm not having a great time. I will stop being creative. The creativity will die the game. But if they don't intentionally grief, if they don't go AFK, if they let me play and they say, if we lose, I'm just gonna report him for unintentional grief for playing a dog shadow, then he will lose more MMR than me, and I'm happy with that. So they cannot just rage report during the game. They will allow you to play, you will play, and if it turns out it's great, they won't report you in the end screen, at least to some extent. So without further ado, let me introduce an idea, a solution for all behavior score problem. Limited but effective reports. That's what we needed from the beginning. So players have a limited amount of reports. For example, 3 reports, which I think is the right call. Every player has 3 remaining reports at all times. During the game, they can report a player for intentional griefing. Remember, we're just talking about behavior score. The communication score report is working fine and everything is okay about. So it's just about behavior score. So everyone has 3 reports. Someone decides to grief and intentionally ruin the game. So one player or whoever is the first will decide to report him. Upon receiving the report, that player is reported. And if any other player after him, or maybe they report at the same time, it will only matter for the first one. The first player who report already uses the remaining report, and the next reports after that will not cost report for them. The next reports will only provide markers for Overwatch views. So it provides better data for Overwatch viewers. Now let's see what happens. So we go to Overwatch. We have 3 judges. This number is arbitrary. It could be anything. I'm just using an example. But in my opinion, it should be 3. We shouldn't have like 10 people watch replays. So this guy is the reportee. This is the guy who it got reported, and this is the reporter. So in the case of Overwatch, the Overwatch will only and only exclusively look for intentional griefing, because we already implanted something for unintentional griefing that I will show later. So it's only for intentional griefing that I show you example. If the person is guilty, then the role ranked match will be on a for 7, 30, 90 days. First time days, second time 30 days, and so on. What this does is that it will create a sanctuary for non-griefers where they can play and enjoy. And this sanctuary is ranked role, okay? So while also they are banned from role ranked role will also be banned for hours, say 2 hours, and 1 week, depending depending on the repeat situation and some purchase. The dude has proven to be guilty of intentional griefing. I mean, what are we talking about, bro? It's like felon. It's the most horrible thing you can do. We shouldn't be joking about this. This is guilty. He should be extremely fucked up. He should get fucked so hard that he will never do it again. This some minor behavior score change and some minor garbage low period. Enough. Do not care about that. Want them to not be able to play with us again for a very long time. That's what everyone wants. If you intentionally grief the game, you just wow, whoa. This is so bad. I don't want to play with you again. That's what everyone wants, I think. So, but if we punish them so much hard, they will create a new account, right? They'll just become smurf. So what's the solution? So we'll let them play rank, but only classic. So after finishing low period and ban duration, the player can play classic ranked. They will only be able to play classic ranked, where they fight for mid-roll, they keep griefing each other. They can still be reported and they will be banned for a month. The whole point is that we do not want to play with these players. We want them to go. We want them to uninstall the game. We don't care about player count, because these animals are actually causing player count to drop. Some minority of animals are making everyone leave the game because they're not making the game fun for everyone. We do not want them, okay? They intentionally grief. They just go AFK, let the game end. They destroy items. They go feed on purpose. They actively try to lose the game. And the reporter will get his report replenished. So he used one report and the report is successful, he will get his report back. So if he keeps reporting the right person, he will have always 3 reports. Imagine you have 3 reports. You have 2 more to spare. If you just keep reporting the right person, having 3 just allows you to report 3 players in the same team if there's 3 griefers. That's just the whole point of it. So what if the person is not guilty? Well, if he's not guilty, there's no penalty, there's no behavior score, there's nothing. He did nothing wrong. He did not intentionally grief the game, so nothing will happen to him. But the reporter will not have his report replenished. So he will have 2 remaining reports. And if this happens 3 times, they will run out of reports. They will never have any reports to you until end of the season. So choose your reports wisely. Don't just report because he picked a dog shit hero. Don't just report because buying the wrong item. Only use the report for intentional, because that's what the report is about. And what do the judges get? So if majority verdict guilty, then it's considered guilty. They get a random drop. Yes, they should get a random drop. They should get some reward. They're spending their time, they're not having a great time, and they're doing something for the community. They should get something. If Valve doesn't want to pay something out of its pocket for players, then it's a Valve problem. Then it's a greed problem. If you want to make community better, you need to spend something. You can't just get things done for free. You need to give them some drops and some Dota Plus shards. It should have some benefits. And it should also give them some score that if they, for example, successfully verdict for like 10 times, 20 times, they will get a badge. And if they do it like 100 times, they get another badge, and so on. These badges can be shown in the profile or something for show off. We Dota players like that kind of shit. We like to show off that we made so many people banned. But if we just want to abuse it and just do it for the drops, we will end up not aligning with the majority. And if this happens 3 times, we will lose the right to judge until end of the season. So we cannot verdict guilty to just spam it for the drops. If we do that, we're gonna lose the right to judge. We should actually judge. So this will completely solve the intentional griefing problem. So what about unintentional griefs? What about the suboptimal picks, bad plays, dog shit player, those not contribute much to the winning? So for them, we have an option that is only available after game ends, and it's only available in a strict solo mode, because in party it can be abused. So we completely ignore it. If you want to use this option, play in a strict solo. If you're playing in party, you cannot have this option. Just play normal like always used to be. So after the game ends, and when you go to the scoreboard to see the damage dealt, the wards purchased, and everything, at the end of the menu there will be an option that you can choose. The weakest player did not contribute much toward victory. So from 5 players, you can only choose 1. For example, this guy tried to play position 5 PA, and it did not work at all. He fed and he did nothing. So I'm choosing this guy as the least garbage dogshit hero in my team, who did not do anything toward victory. So if majority vote this guy, for example, someone votes another player, someone thinks another one was the weakest player, we don't care. Only thing that we care is that one player gets 3 or more votes, and you can only vote for 1. You can't just select everyone. You just vote for 1. So if majority vote for one player who is the weakest link, then that player lose 50% more MMR because he's playing bad. He's being dogshit. That means he doesn't belong in this rank. So they will lose more MMR to reach the rank they belong. This is what everyone wants to use, but they don't have. They use the unlimited intentional grief instead. instead. And what it does is that it makes those actual animals are intentionally griefing the game not be punished as much because there's so many reports. No, we want limited reports but effective. We want those intentionally destroy items grief. We want them to be completely gone. We want them to get fucked. And those play dog shit, but it's not intentional. They're just bad. They decided to play a dog shit hero? They will lose MMR and will soon realize maybe I should stop playing PA position 5 because I'm losing so much MMR and people care so much about MMR. You know, if we lose more MMR because of our choices, we're gonna stop. So this is my case for solution and it's so effective in my opinion. If you have better suggestion, make sure to comment it.